I used to hold my investments with the Royal Bank of Canada. One day, as I was reviewing my investments with them, I noticed that I was being charged a hefty amount or a hefty percentage of 2.46% on my index fund investments. I thought I was being charged 1.44% on my investments, but as I was going through the details of the investment, it appeared that it was 2.46%. Apparently, the expense ratio and the management expense ratio were two separate charges. To my books, to my understanding, it should have been one and the same, but to RBC it was different, and to me, I considered it as theft. And I was not informed of this. I cannot necessarily say that it was the fault of my advisor, and I would not say that it was 100% my fault as well. I did not know what I did not know. It was never brought to my attention that it was the case. And one of the reasons that I decided to invest in such a fund in RBC was because it was one of the lowest charged index fund with RBC with a good rate of return. And again, as soon as I noticed it and evaluated that I was being charged more than I could ever tolerate, immediately I decided I have to put a solution to it, and that's the time that I decided to open a Questrade account. Hello everyone, this is Ricey and welcome to my channel, The Quest for Wealth. Now again, it was with RBC. What I did immediately was that I divested my investments with RBC, but my regular banking is still right now with RBC, and I opened my Questrade account. Now, I guess you will ask, what is MER or Management Expense Ratio? Management Expense Ratio is the amount of money or the amount of fee that an investor pays to a service provider to manage the investment account or the fund within that company or the service provider. The management expense ratio threshold that I have for myself really is less than 1%. So again, as soon as I realized that I was being charged 2.46% on my investments, immediately I closed my account, because of the mere fact that why would I even dare pay 2.46 on an index fund? That index fund is supposed to be passively managed. It is passively managed. It's supposed to just mirror the performance of an index or the companies that are within a certain index. It was not an actively managed fund, and therefore to me, to my books and to my understanding, more than 1% is way too much, and therefore I opened a Questrade account. With Questrade account, I only pay $0.01 with a maximum of about $5, $9.95, $10 maximum charge that I pay, which to me is acceptable, and I do manage my own funds. Now, when I opened my Questrade account, that was the time that I started engaging with the concept of value investing. Warren Buffett certainly is one of the investors that I follow, together with Mohnish Pabrai. Mohnish Pabrai is an Indian, a successful investor as well. Those two guys are the pinnacle of who and what a value investor should be, and I follow them. I read books about them and books that they have written. Aside from reading books, I do listen to podcasts about value investing. Now, one thing that I have to be clear with you is that not all of my investments are all value investing. I do have investments on index as well. I am not totally 100% value invested. I do have a certain fraction or a certain percentage of my investments on index, but then the majority, I would say about 70 to 80% of my securities are in the stock or in value investing. Now, some of you may ask, what is it for? Why not just focus on index investing? And index investing, as safe as it is also lagging as it is. I mean, if you had invested on index and funds, then you would have only gathered a maximum or an average 10% per annum of rate of return. It is safe, but it is not a breakout performance. Whereas with stock, understanding a company and understanding the intrinsic value of a stock, this is potentially more profitable for anyone if value investing, the concept of value investing is being followed. For example, if you had invested $1,000 on an S&P index in 2009, your $1,000 would be worth $2,700 in 10 years. If you had invested the same amount of $1,000 in a Microsoft stock, then your stock or your investment would have grown to $6,500 over 10 years. That's 550% compounded over the years. That means if you did invest in the Microsoft stock, you grew your investment twice as much as compared to if you invested it in an S&P 500 index. This is the power of value investing. Again, you cannot just pick and choose a certain stock or a certain company. You have to understand the company and the stock that you want to buy. I do not just, close my eyes and pick and choose whichever stock or whichever company that I want to buy stock of. There are various parameters to consider in order for a person to truly make a decision on whether or not a certain stock is worthy of your time and your resources. The first one, or there are various things, but there are the main things that I truly look at are the finances, of course, and the kind of management the company has, the people who manage the company. Who are they and what are they? Are they credible? Are they reliable? Are they honest people? Are they concerned with the investments of the shareholders? And essentially, they are not concerned with what kind of jet they will buy the following year in order for them to hustle from one country to another. Finances, and this is a major predominant factor to look at: the return on equities, the ROIC, or the return on invested capital, the earnings per share, is it growing? And definitely very important is the debt of the company. Ideally, if a company has got less than 5 years of debt worth of the company's earnings, then that is a good company and potentially is being managed properly. If the company has got a debt that is more than 5 years, I don't even look further or farther within this company. I just put it aside and forget about that company. So you will ask, where do I find the financial details of these companies? And the answer is very easy. First one is definitely go to their website. They should definitely, it is required by law to put all their financial reports in their website. And the second one is SEC filing, or the Securities Exchange Commission filing. You will have all of their reports within that website. There are various ways to evaluate the intrinsic value of a stock or of a company. There is the Yahoo Finance, you have the Google Finance, you have the Bloomberg reports, but really, to me, you do not want to overcomplicate things. I do use a tool that I look at and use to create my watch list, and I find it easy to use and cohesive. This is called the Rule 1 Investing by Philtown, and I will link the description below. It's a very easy tool to use. If you ever try and want to use it, you can have 1 month of free usage for it, and as soon as you use it, you will see and find that it's very clear, it's very cohesive, and it will provide you the actual situation of a certain company. And so then my strategy is that index investing keeps me diversified, and stocks gives me breakout performance, thereby growing my investments or my funds as quickly as possible. Thank you, and I hope that you gained value in this video. If you did, I sure hope that you like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you in the next video.